Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is JPico Death checking in with you for another cooking video. Hopefully the video itself will be quick, although the process that we're about to embark on will not be fast. In specific, we're going to be making a slow cooker, crock-pot style pulled pork, barbecue pulled pork. That's my hope anyway. I say that's my hope because this is something I've never done before, and I would like to. I'm hoping the audio is going to come through okay on this today. We are using a new setup. Officially own a video camera now, so we're going to see if this audio is good, and if not, I think there's an external mic we can try out instead. But for today, we'll try this one and see how it goes. In front of us are the ingredients we're going to need. We do have, this is about, I think it's about 8.5 or 8.25 pound pork, what do they call it? Pork shoulder butt, I think is what it's called. Fat cap still on it. Excuse me. We have 1 cup of a kind of a fresh pressed apple cider. This is something that's kind of left over from the holidays, but they say you can use apple juice, so I figure why not use a fresh cider instead. It's not mulled or anything like that, so it's normal. Now we're going to go through our pile of spices here that will consist of our dry rub. This rub is untested by me, however it comes from a website called, I think it's tastesoflizzieT.com, so full credit to her on that one. And I am not making a full batch of this. At the end of the day it's supposed to make approximately 2 cups of it was the original recipe, so I've cut it down to half. So we're going to be doing half a recipe with the volumes I'm telling you now. And that is to leave us with about 1 cup of rub that we can use. So I think even then it's going to be overkill for what we need today, so I'll have extra. Sorry, wasting time. Here we go. We have 1/4 cup of our, let me bring these up maybe, let's do this. 1/4 cup of smoked paprika. We have 3 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 tablespoons of salt. I have about 2.5 tablespoons of garlic powder here. This one also has some smoked jalapeno in it, because officially the recipe does call for some smoked chipotle as well, which I did not have, but this one has smoked jalapeno in it, so it's as close as we're going to get for today. We have 1 tablespoon of pepper. This one is actually a smoked pepper as well, just black pepper. This is a tablespoon of chili powder. We have a tablespoon of onion powder, and these both come to me from Vault Girl. They actually came out of her kitchen, so thank you very much for those, Vault Girl. It's 1.5 teaspoons of cayenne, 1.5 teaspoons of cumin, 1.5 teaspoons of dry mustard seed. So that is the ingredients for the rub. I'm going to get these all mixed up. We're going to rub this roasted down, and I'm going to get a pan out here to try to sear this thing off a little bit. Alright, back at it again. So we used probably between, I don't know, 1/3 and 1/2 cup of our spice rub on this piece of meat. And let's see if I can't drop it into this pan over here and get a sear on it for a couple minutes. Oh, that's a big mama. We're going to run this thing for between 2 and 3 minutes on each side. Just get a bit of a head start, see if we can get a good sear on it. If I didn't say so already, I've got it on medium-high heat. I just want to get a little bit of a crust, if I can, on this thing real quick before it goes in. So while this thing is searing up real quick, I do want to take a quick second to get back into a reminder for everybody about our Gamers and Geeks playlist that Vault Girl and I have going on. It is a community-driven playlist. I'm sure a lot of you know what that is already. But for anybody who doesn't, it is it's something that our friends and YouTube family have been participating in for, golly, I think almost 2 years now. And, oh, turn over you. Get a hold of it. Come on. We've been, excuse me. Whew, the spices. We've been building it for about 2 years, and we are well over 200 videos. I think it's about 225 videos in the playlist right now that have been made and put together by, yes, our YouTube friends and family. And we do encourage everybody that is inclined to get involved with this project. There's a lot of good food in there. We don't care if it's anything fancy. This, in fact, is, I was planning this as kind of a game day kind of thing, you know, the Super Bowl, which we're not allowed to say those words officially. The big game is coming up next week, and I don't much give a damn about the game, but this is Super Bowl type food. And if you're not going to make something like a game day queso, pulled pork little sandwiches would be great to have as well. Come on. So tonight I'm actually having some friends and family over for a little bit of a game night. We're just playing board games, but I figured I would get this together for you guys because honestly I've been slacking in my duties as a contributor to this particular project, and I did want to get something on the books. But we're going to be playing some games and having some pulled pork, and there's going to be a second video we're recording today as well, but you'll be seeing that separately. So oh boy, these spices are fun. Alright, so as soon as this is seared a little bit to my satisfaction, we're going to be going and dropping this into a crock pot. I've got it already set to low. I have just a little bit of our apple cider vinegar in the bottom of, or sorry, apple cider, not vinegar. That's something else. That comes later. A little bit of our apple cider in there already. And we're going to let this thing cook for 8 hours on low. So it is Saturday morning, about an hour later than I want it to be, but we are going to get this thing in the pot. Alright, I'm going to get this over into the pot with the fat cap up, and we'll see you guys in a little while. Well, longer than a little while. See you guys in about 8 hours. Okay, officially I fibbed. Decided I would show you in the pot. So there is my 8+ pound pork butt, and that has been seared off after it's been in spices, and it's got a cup of apple cider in there with it. We're set on low, and we will be back to this in 8 hours. See you guys later. Okay, we are going to get started on making the sauce for this pulled pork, this barbecue pork. If I didn't mention it sooner, I've honestly not done any of this before. I've never made a pulled pork in my own home. So the pork is new, the rub is new, and this sauce is new. And they're all from different places. So this sauce I did get from addapinch.com, and we're going to be using it today to make this sauce. So I'll put a link to both of these contributors to my little project here in the description. But we're going to start off with some ingredients here. We're going to have 2 cups of ketchup. I did see recommended somewhere to avoid ones with too much, with like high fructose corn syrup and things like that in them, which I can kind of see. I'm trying just to get a specific flavor profile, so getting additional sweet in there may not be the right answer. So I got one that didn't have any at all. But we have ketchup, 2 cups of ketchup, a half a cup of the apple cider vinegar. We have a 1/4 cup of brown sugar packed. We have 2 tablespoons of honey, 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice. This is fresh lemon juice. And then I have 1 tablespoon here of salt, pepper, and garlic. The ratio they recommend for this is half of a teaspoon, 1/4, and 1/4. I've decided to go with the smoked pepper again, like we did in the other in the brisket as well. I figured if it's going to have a little bit of smoky flavor, let's might as well bring that in. So I'm going to get all this combined into a pot. We're going to get it simmering, and I will see you guys in about 10 minutes after it's simmered for a little while. Alright folks, here we go, moment of truth. It has been 8 hours. This crock-pot lid comes off. We have a lot more fluid in there than we used to, which is, I suppose, to be expected based on the drippings leaving the meat. It's got to have its own weight. So the hope is that if this thing is cooked through, it should just fall apart, right? Question is, can I get it out of the pot to do so? Okay, well, that's step one. You know what? I glued that back on earlier and it didn't take. I just ripped it off again. Alright. So now we find out, right? How tender it is. Well, some areas more tender than others. It's definitely falling apart easy. There's a bone in the middle of this thing, right here. Get that bone out of the way. But hopefully, I don't know. Maybe my roast was big enough. That's still pretty tender though. Maybe, just maybe, we didn't cook it long enough. Maybe this size of roast needed more time. I mean, it's not bad. It's just definitely not completely melting as I'd half expected. So maybe that's my expectation. I'm going to tear some of this down and see what we're up against, and I will be back with you guys here in a couple minutes. Hey, by the way, there's what we're working with. Sorry about that. That was kind of rude of me. While we're here looking at this hunk of meat that you guys can't see, I have to get rid of this extra bit of fat cap and things like that. That's not what, as Alton Brown would call it, good eats. You don't want to be eating that stuff. So we'll get rid of all those uber fatty deposits there. And see how the rest of this does. I should have some on a plate for you guys here in just a few minutes. Be right back. Okay folks, here's the verdict. So I think that the meat could have used more time. There's some of it that is amazingly tender, and there's some of it that is amazingly not. So what I've done is, I mean, the good news for me is my guests are, although they're arriving theoretically in like 20 minutes, we weren't promised food at 20 minutes. So I've got the roast back in the pot. I flipped it over from where it sat before, and we're going to let it stew in its own juices for a while longer. And I'm hoping the next time we see it, it's going to be a little more tender than it was. I'm not saying that it's entirely tough, but there's some parts where I was really not impressed with it, how well it should pull apart. In this bowl, however, is some of the better parts, and this stuff is really good. And my sauce is done as well. I'm going to take a little dip of that. It's also very good. It's a little bit tangy. I wish I knew a lot more about barbecue sauces. If I could say, oh yeah, this is a such and such style barbecue sauce. It's a barbecue sauce, and it is that color, and that's what kind of barbecue sauce it is. A little bit tangy, not hot. Could be pretty easy, by getting just a little bit more heat into it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up a plate, and I'm going to show it to you, so you guys can see a finished product as I'm talking here. That way you can see the pretty side of this. We'll have it all done up and on a bun, and with, let me think, some of the fried chilies we're going to make. Except you guys haven't seen that yet, because that's a different video. So stick tuned for that one. I think it's either going to drop the same day or the day after. But there are going to be some green chilies, fried green chilies on top of this sandwich as well. But thanks for coming along for this journey. If I haven't been elaborate enough, do consider visiting the Gamers and Geeks playlist. Do contribute if you can. Remember, if you are going to make some of your own content, get that information to us, and do include a mention of the Gamers and Geeks playlist. Give your folks an opportunity to find it as well. There's well over 220 something contributions in there already, and we just want to make sure everybody can be found and be seen and recognized for the hard work they've done. So until next time, thank you very much for checking in with me, and I will see you again. Bye-bye.